Hey, beautiful people. I am trying to get my shit set up here. Welcome back. Right now I'm going to, it's a Lemurian stone. I literally just heard somebody ask, what shit? Point it to the wrong thing. That's my Lemurian stone. Okay, so yeah. Welcome back. I'm going to tap into another element. I'm feeling really drawn to talk with those closely related to or feeling the earth element. Beforehand, I was getting a couple things. Definitely something about the root chakra is going to come into play with the message. And then, of course, they said something to the effect of springtime is coming early. And it's not so much like the weather and the flowers, but the abundance that's supposed to come in, or something that's meant to come in is coming in early. Something's going to flourish early. That was like during my, I don't know if you want to call it meditative, but my moment of silence while shuffling with spirit stuff just comes through. I mean, when I do repetitive moments, usually when I channel or talk to somebody, especially when it comes to big messages, I actually tend to pace and move, or I have like some kind of repetitive moment or movement. That's also why I use these, because it just helps me to hone in. Not that I always have to, but especially if you do a collective, sometimes it can really, especially on like a YouTube platform or something like that, you tend to tap into a much larger group of individuals. And so it just really helps me to hone things in and contain the message that's meant to come through. So I have no clue why I went on that tangent. I'm going to do something really quick. I meant to do this before I started. Been doing readings today, and I just want to make sure that I clear the air. I did a anyways, it's just not something they prompted me to do, and I didn't do it, and they just reminded me, like, you fucking didn't do this. I'm like, oh, sorry. Okay, so just as a reminder, this is not pertaining to any particular zodiac. The reason why I do the elements is because we are all influenced by all of the zodiac signs. There's the tropical, there's the Vedic sidereal, there's what planet is in what at this particular time. May have nothing to do with your damn chart. You're being influenced by that particular element in regards to anything astrological that's occurring. Or there's something that your soul is needing, your body is needing, your 3D avatar is needing, and that's why you're drawn to a particular element, or a phase that you're in where you align more with a particular element, or, you know, so that's why I do the elements, because and also probably why more of my messages tend to be very broad and far-reaching, because if you there's too many things that can be influencing at one time, and sometimes if we try to get too pinpointing, then we miss the broader picture. So if you're looking for a horoscope, not the channel, not going to do it. Also, if you're looking for somebody who doesn't cuss or talk about inappropriate subject, you know, sex, I don't know, whatever else. I don't know why I just told you that, but this is not the channel. If you're under 18, click off. But yeah, so okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. I already did a little shuffling. I'll do a little bit of shuffling on screen. Let's see here. They definitely, nope. I know for certain between this one and this one, I don't know what else they're gonna make me pull, but those are the two that I felt. They're like, not that one first, so sorry. All right, so let's see what they have for us here. I do it differently. I don't do reversals, just as a reminder. Also, energy is fluid. I tap more into like masculine, feminine. If it's a particular gender, you know, like a tallywhacker or a, well, they're gonna, all right. Oh, okay. So again, I tap into the energies. If it's going to be specific, they'll let me know. And usually the only time they get specific is, I feel feeling a third. Okay. It is because it's absolutely necessary at that point in time. So, and also these readings are good for any time, just as a reminder. Nope. All right, we're tapping into the element of earth, of the land. We're tapping into Pachamama. I'm really feeling my crown chakra opening up. Okay. All right. I have no clue what we're about to get into. Okay. First card we've got. Oh, this is the Archangel Oracle deck, by the way. Spiritual Understanding. Archangel Raziel. I am bringing you esoteric information and symbols and helping you understand spiritual truths. Archangel Michael, be clear about what you desire and focus upon it with unwavering faith. They're asking if you have crystal clear intentions. You know, this is just as an example. What this reminds me of is we did a reading for the water element, and there's this whole like taking action towards a particular goal, actually deciding what the action is going to be, shooting your shot, and then going, oh, I didn't have like instant, feedback, and oh, it's not going to work. And it's almost like before you shoot your arrow and the arrow even has a chance to hit the target, you're backing the fuck up, and it just really messes with your energy and what your true intentions are. Honor what it is that you choose to do. Stand by that. Stand by your intuition and your knowledge and your knowing, and be clear about what it is that you want. Just because Spirit can understand and tell the shift in your energy when you go and you have that sudden fear, the panic, the worry, and then you go, oh, that's not it. That's not the right way. And they go, whoop, okay, wait, what? And so then everything that you think should come back, the feedback you're looking for, is halted. You can't see it, you can't feel it, you can't sense it. So this is really about, when we talk about crystal clear intentions, it is ensuring the energy that you're emitting, the frequency, the vibe. Okay. And this is, wow, I have no clue. We're going to go on a circus ride here. Relationship harmony. That came out. So it says, this is Raguel, fat tongue. Raguel. The angels are opening the hearts of everyone involved. Arguments and conflicts are being resolved now. So they're helping to bring spiritual information and truths to you. They really want you to be crystal clear with your energy and what it is that you want. They want your energy to match your intentions to what it is that you genuinely desire. Okay? And they will, in turn, help to open up and not have closed off. And this includes you as well, they're saying. To open up the heart chakra. And it's kind of like that's where the crystal clear intentions come from, is that, there's something that is a goal of yours, something that you have asked for and prayed for, and said that you want, and then but at some point, what you have set up to this point that you wanted or you desired, you are now closing off to, which then sends out mixed signals. Your energy is getting, like white noise. And so what you're asking for, either you're cutting yourself off to, or you won't receive, because it's not a free vibrational match anymore. I think that's a piece of the spiritual truth that's coming in. Let's see here. I am bringing you, and they're showing you information and symbols as a way to help guide you throughout this. But it feels like part of the biggest piece of the spiritual truth that you're getting is actually in regards to the opening of the heart chakra and being clear with your intention. Like, you've been confused up to this point as to why things have not panned out how you thought that they would. And that really, it has nothing to do with anything outside of yourself. It's you. Okay. So I don't know what is going to let this stuff sit over here. Put these things up. All right. So we're going to pull this in and try to get some more information in regards to this. I'll shuffle it a couple of times so that y'all can see. Well. Okay, so this is the reason why they brought up the root chakra, because there's some very primal pieces of understanding that you in relation to security, stability within your life, that you have been working on. It seems like you've been working on this and working through it. And, you know, like I hear things like your basic survival instincts is what they're saying, are really come from your need to, or your desire to establish stability. And some of those basic instincts are what are causing things to be cut off. Okay. They're showing me a need to ground, like what they're showing me, someone sitting on the grass, like rooting into the earth, and needing to understand, almost like you get to be your own sense of stability. All right, hold on just one moment. All right, guys, sorry about that. I had somebody come in and trampling outside my door, and that's super distracting to me. I'm like, just go. So I had to make sure that that wasn't going to continue during the reading. I didn't want to distract you all either. Okay, so I'm just going to let Spirit kind of, that's too much. I was about to say, I was like, look. Apparently they want to pop through with a message though. Okay, I'm going to just, I did take a few minutes to clear myself to make sure that no interruptions would impede my channel. So let's see here. So yeah, talking about really opening up the heart chakra here. That somehow is messing with the frequency that you're sending out, with the energy, with your energy. And you're sending mixed signals. You co-create with the universe, with spirit, with source. And so this is kind of like something that, you know, and I feel like what they're saying here is that there's some type of spiritual truth that's going to come through for you that actually helps you to open yourself up, to open up that channel, is what they're saying, so that you don't want to, not that you don't want to, so that you no longer impulsively close off the heart chakra. Okay. All right, Spirit. What message do we have for those who are resonating? Oh, shiza. Okay. Jesus. Okay. Got us a story unfolding here. So along the theme of, I feel like this is supposed to be on here. Along the theme of that spiritual understanding, we've got the Hierophant coming out here. This is the Golden Universal Tarot deck. It's really beautiful, actually. Just let y'all take a good look at that. Yeah, there's some knowledge. I'm just going to go through because I'm actually feeling it in my heart right now. And it's, we have the Five of Wands. So you have that. We also have Judgment. Four of Wands. Two of Swords. We'll get to this in a little bit. I feel like you're honing right now. What needs to happen is, okay, what they're showing me is this thing that he holds in his hand. You see that? Looks like an antenna. Like, I kid you not. Remember back in the day at the top of our roof? Now, this is America here. But we would have these antennas, and that's how we actually got our cable or television shows and things like that, was through the antenna. And if the weather went out, or if the weather was cloudy, or if there was any kind of, we would have issues, and the cable would go out, and somebody would have to readjust it and turn it, and blah, blah, blah. Or you just suffered, okay? And so I feel like there's a fine-tuning of your antenna that's happening right now. In order to receive the messages that need to come through. It feels as if there's been a lot of effort put into, you know, being open, listening for your intuition, but it's not, there's the not having the crystal clear intentions within you has clouded the signals that are coming through, basically. It almost, I don't know why, but it almost feels intentional. Like the only way to get a good understanding of what it is that they're trying to show you is to kind of go through this struggle first, of really how to hone in on the message and how to get rid of that extra cloudiness, that storm that might be interfering. Because the clouds almost act as like a doorway, like to the signals that are coming through. Like if you use the weather vane, why did that come out? Okay. But the antenna for the cable and TV shows, it's almost as if the message, the signals that need to come through, the clouds represent the closed off feeling that we get with this. And that creates the cloud, the delay in understanding. There's a surrender that's going to happen, they're telling me. And after that surrender, it's almost as if you're going to go through, you know, like nothing really tumultuous or traumatic. There's no real fight or struggle. It's just like, all the little things. You know that when shit hits the fan, like you ever have like a day where it's just like one more tiny ass little fucking thing happens and I swear to God, shit's going to hit the fan. Like nothing big. It's just like one thing after another. Oh, for love of God. And you want to be like, why does the universe hate me? Why do, you just kind of go that route because you're just like, oh, for fuck's sake. That's the feeling that this card really brings about. And there's this struggle that's actually going to happen. That's the struggle that you're going through. But okay. So pull back. There is a reason for this. And this is what you're going to surrender from. You will surrender. This is what they're saying. Almost, this feels more like a fortune telling, almost like they know. Like, let's put it this way. That's going to continue until you surrender. Okay? So you might have free will. Again, I always tell people there's this perception of free will. But let me tell you what. Spirit, well, they got a job too. You ain't the only one that has a purpose and is a part of the collective. So they got a fucking job too. And their job is to make sure that you stick to the goddamn plan. And if they got to create this shit within you to get you there, believe you me, that's what they're going to do. It's like a volume. Like something could happen and Spirit goes, oh, not enough? Let me turn the volume up on what you're experiencing. So they may not be able to prevent you from or force you into doing anything. But buddy, let me tell you what, they can remove every other motherfucking option in your way so that you are, until you understand. And when the reason behind this surrender is really surrendering to yourself. This is something that you have wanted, that you have set out to do, that you have chosen to do, even at your higher self. There's times where my human is like, fuck that shit. And my higher self is like, this is my true calling. This is really what I want to do. This is my desire. Guess who wins out? Might be a bumpy road until she does, but my higher self wins out every fucking time. So there's almost like this struggle's intentional when the surrender occurs, to just the feeling and the emotion of everything. That surrender happens through grounding. The surrender happens it feels like a sense of peace, like just letting go and being the observer instead of the investigator. It's almost like you're an investigator, but you're trying to figure this out. And you're trying to like there's this that's where this internal yet chaotic feeling is coming from. And you just let go, and it's like they show me you no longer just sitting on the ground now. They show me a vision of you just laying back and literally feeling like you're melting into the ground. I really feel like there's some earthing that needs to go on. There's too much imagery in regards to that. Whoever's watching this, getting outside is going to be beneficial for you. Finding a way to really ground in. More than once, they're saying, more than once. You need to get out there and really kind of realign yourself. I don't know if realign is the right word. Really bring yourself down. Okay? After that struggle, there is a spiritual truth that sets in. An understanding that lands almost, that will help you hear the call. It's almost as if with the crystal clear intentions, the energy that you're putting out, the message, the frequency, you will receive and hear they're saying like reverb, echo, the callback to that. You know, like when you're in a cave and you holler out and you hear it come back to you. The sound travels back to you. The response, the call to action. I want to read you something and this is going to seem off the wall, but we're going to the Starman Tarot deck. There's something in this book that they said it perfectly in regards to judgment, and I feel like it pertains to this. And so I kind of just want to read it really quick to you guys. Let's see here. So the judgment, and I feel like this is more what the judgment card is about versus, the judgment associated with the Bible and things like that. What they say, and again, this is the Starman Tarot by David Angelus and Esther DeAngelis. The part of ourselves that was lost, has been hiding, or lying dormant is revealed and must be lived out, fully expressed in the world. So this call to action, this judgment comes after. Okay, so it's comes after the metamorphosis is complete, an unrecognizable embodiment of spiritual revelation. The previous life completely wiped clean, who you were and who you are. Okay, and I think this is a part of the spiritual truth that will land, because I can tell you this like 10 times over, and you've probably heard it 10 times over from so many different sources and outlets, but there's always that moment where something just hits and you get it at like a deep soul level, at a cellular, molecular level. You get it and becomes a part of your fabric. So it's the part of ourselves that was lost, that has been hiding or lying dormant, and it's revealed and must be lived out, fully expressed in the world. We are called to action, awake to something entirely different about life, a compelling new possibility. We can't go back. Where did it go? In an instant, we realize something fundamental must change. We recognize the lie we have been living, the story about ourselves and life is seen for what it is. This is the spiritual truth. This is the spiritual truth. The meanings we have carried from childhood, the assumptions we have made, the lens passed on to us through which to view life. This revelation wasn't asked for. It wasn't sought. Rather, it was bluntly administered. There is no choice but to act upon it. It charges you with the task of looking into your life without hesitation to see what has been buried unloved. It calls you to bring it to life. The events and patterns of your past life, like the pieces of a jigsaw, have come together to form a whole, complete new person. In a flash, all can be understood. All is forgiven. You forgive yourself. So that to me is really what this judgment card is about. It's really about calling up who you truly are and always have been, and being able to live that truth. Right now, it's an understanding in your mind, but it's not embodied within you, and it has that piece of you that needs to be awakened. Hasn't been brought forth yet, and so I feel like that's the spiritual understanding that will land at some point after you just surrender. Okay, in that new truth, acceptance of who you really are, forgiveness for all that used to be you, or that you or your experiences, or lenses and understandings, you then fall into the stability that you've been seeking, and that's where that root chakra comes into play. And it comes from a source you never imagined it. Like, that sense of stability isn't what you thought it was. It is owning and loving yourself in any circumstance. there's a strength that comes from that. And I think that that's where also the relationship harmony comes into play. They're saying that your heart is able to open. You know, when you understand the things that you've gone through, the lenses you've looked through, the reasons you've operated the way you have in your life up to this point, that's one thing. And then when you finally let go and allow yourself to see yourself as you truly are, not just in this theoretical understanding that you have in your mind, because, you know, you've learned this lesson. We are really getting back to, this is all as if like coming full circle, okay? And coming to a place where, It's a sense of peace that you end up having, because your heart then can open. There's something about when this truth lands for you and your heart opens. How you see those from your past, any circumstances or situations you're currently facing. They're pointing to family members right now. They're telling me family, specifically when it comes to opening your heart. That sense of stability and structure that you have desired since childhood and never received, that old false sense of what stability looked like, security looked like in life, that you've continued to act out patterns and behaviors on, which were really not serving you because it was not a true reflection of what security and stability is. It's something that was garnered from early on in your childhood and through some of the relationships you had with family members, with people who cared for you as a young child and growing up. And then when you're able to release that, when you're able to see all of those through that new lens, you come to a place of true open receptivity. The clouds kind of dissipate. Yeah. This definitely relates to there's an understanding that has occurred. You understand it. You've worked through it. You've healed it. But you are back at a place of embodiment. And this is really embodying the root chakra. And so that's the reason why it's you're seeing the manifestation of the work that you've done in your 3D life, in your muggle life. And there's something about the struggle between living this existence and being open to co-creating with the universe and being in touch with spirit. When this spiritual truth lands for you and you're then able to see everything as it really is and was intended, and for the lesson that it was, the sense of stability and security then is established within and then begins to manifest outward, visibly to you in the material world. It just has to happen within first. And so they're asking you to just give in and surrender to the truth that needs to come through. These two really reference, I think, the piece that might be making it difficult for you to surrender to that. You are in a place of remembering, like, the pain and the turmoil that occurred from your quote unquote taught value system and ingrained notions of what stability and security really meant and what it was, which wasn't actually secure, stable, loving at all. Your security and stability comes from love, a genuine love of yourself. Just going to throw that out there. It'll land at some point, I promise. And the lack that you have had in the past, or the false understanding that you had, really led to, like, one sword after another being stabbed over and over and over again. Only this shit wasn't stabbing your back. This is, you walked full force into this shit because of your lack of understanding, what you thought to be true. And you literally lay there looking like, it's as if somebody were standing there with a sword and you just went right into it. You just, and so this is very, very, and the King of Wands, there's the sense of, when you think of the wands, right? Very action-oriented, action takers, having passion and going for it, movement, the energy that's needed, the motivation, the clarity. Well, not so much the clarity. Sometimes it's impulsive, and they're saying that you're not in a place, you're not at the Knight of Wands or the Page of Wands or the, in any other situation where you just walked full force right into whatever situation where you handed your power away. You now can operate from the King of Wands. You're at a place now where you have the discernment, and the mastery is what they're saying. It is really a choice and a decision that you get to make, and only you alone. Your willing surrender, these are the words I'm hearing, your willing surrender and acceptance of this spiritual truth and understanding gives you the leverage to never be in a position where you have to walk full force right into your own demise. Through your surrender, you can align your intentions and your energies together. And receive the call back from the universe. Being reminded of something that actually one of my gifted friends told me is that we speak to the universe through our heart chakra. We can receive downloads and information, visions and insights from spirit through our crown, through our third eye. But the true communication happens through the heart chakra. The reason this is happening under the earth element is that the transformation that occurs and the spiritual insight and the embodiment, the message that will land for you is actually going to change everything you know and understand about stability and security and how to have that within your life and what part you play in that. It'll give you a sense of grounding and a new way of understanding how to ground that you've not had before. One of the best ways to keep everything in alignment is to keep your heart open. And if you have a misconstrued understanding of what it means to be secure and stable within yourself or within your life, it's going to fuck with your root chakra. And it's not always, it's not always about these simplistic, I call them simplistic, ways of grounding in, they're very effective. Don't get me wrong. But the best way to ground is actually through your heart. That will land at some point. That is the spiritual truth that you need to hear. You may spend some time in your mental space trying to figure that one out. And then when you just let go, it will fucking land. Well, that was some deep shit. Okay. I feel like that's actually enough right there. So, all right. If that resonated, if that helped you at all, please like the video, subscribe. I've got more content coming. And just, that was intense. Okay. You ever feel like spirit literally just read you and the whole, like at one time? It's like, oh, well, thanks. Okay. So much love to you all. Definitely check back. I will have more content coming out very soon. And I hope you all have a wonderful day.